Kabaneri has finally ended, ladies and gentlemen. The last episode, and holy shit, well, haven't we got a very controversial ending, which, oh my god, like, as of this video, there has been no confirmation for a season 2 of the show, and, well, this is, I feel like, the biggest problem with, like, what everyone has about the series, that and just how fucking goofy this ending gets with its finale. But we're going to be saying, we're going to talk about the goods, the bads, and everything in this last episode of Kabaneri, the Iron Fortress. So we start things off, we got to see fucking like badass samurai dude and fucking Ikoma left and right, side by side, going like against all the fucking like Kabaneri out of all of them, and it's fucking just awesome. Him going in, pile bunking all these fuckers like that, just left, right, action, 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 and it's fantastic. They're running, however, we was known from the start and all that, due to like to undo the Black Blood's effects. From what we see now, like you can only save one of them. Like you can save Mume, or you can save yourself and all that. Either way, you have to hurry. It's only a matter of time for, you know, it's going to take over your mind. And like from what we've seen and all that, like from what like the first, like last week's episode was kind of insinuating, is that the matter of the fact that he was going insane, that he was going to go mentally unstable, but no, he kept there and he was just beating the shit out of people throughout there. And like the biggest problem I think like a lot of people were thinking of was like, oh, he's using the fucking powers and all that, and it's getting unrealistic, which we've already seen with the other Kabaneri, and then like we've already seen as well with what Mume looks like at the top there. And I feel like the most fucking goofiest moment, and it's so fucking silly, is when he's on the train track and he's trying to like stop him. There's two guys stabbing him, and there's a dude on the train track that is trying to run him over with the fucking train, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so stupid, but it's hilarious, and I'm loving it. Going on that, it's just like, the show just decided to just go completely over the fucking top and all that. It's like, yeah, that's what I want to do. Whilst we saw like a little bit of Mume trying to fight everything inside of her, that she was trying to deal with it, and we finally had that confrontation between Biba and the finally like the Ikoma, and well, like for a very short fight, it was a very short fight, very fucking well animated though, I will say this much, and all that like that. And he's just like, he was fighting him, and he tricked Biba at the end like that, like having the blow, thought it was gonna be fatal, turned around and blew the fucker's arm off for that. And I'm not gonna lie, it's the most satisfying thing when he did that, and to like one of Biba's commanders when he just blew a fucking hole in them, was like the best fucking moment. We just went, you hear that impact and you just go, oh, fuck you motherfucker, that's what you get, fuck you. That's what I was like, hype and action wise, yes. But when we started seeing him, like obviously like when he was like started to like transform and he was trying to attack Biba at the end of it and all that, and he was just like going, ah, like that, it's like going insane. And you know, healing Mume, like putting that in, that's what was like kind of getting a little bit ridiculous about the ending. Healing her and the whole thing, Biba gets back up, gets stabbed by Mume though at the end and all that, and saying, you know, like saying, this is my real name, you know, I'm gonna do the rice paddles, I'm gonna live my dream, I'm gonna do all of this and all that, that's what I plan on doing. And him him getting up at the end, shooting the fuck out of Ikoma, people thinking like, oh shit, Ikoma's fucking dead and all that, so you know what we're gonna do. And it's when they kind of turn their bodies back to the ending, and like kind of, it was weird that like with Biba's men, that some of them are saying, in exchange for telling you the escape route, you let us on the Koutetsujou. It's like, yeah, that these guys are gonna become part of the main squad at the end. Like, so it seems like it's definitely setting up for like that ending as well. It's like, you know, oh, why would you add these people at the end? And it's like, oh, like, you know, they didn't want to really trust them since after everything they've done to him and all that. And when we get to see that, and they finally, you know, come back on the fucking train and all that, and they're like, oh please, you come and wake up, wake up. It turns out that the Biba seemingly shot a vial into Ikoma. That's the only like explanation, and the explanation to that is a lot of people saying, oh, he's done good at the end, and like, no, he wanted to take him as an experiment since Mume failed, and he that's why he was doing it. He was trying to calm it down, and it's like, oh, I can do this again, I can do this experiment, although there's still not a full resolution with that. And there was just a goofy moment when they like threw him over to the fucking train, what we see with like Mume throwing him fucking over, flying back, and catching him on some like flag thing, and it was like really dumb and goofy as well. Although one bit I really loved when I thought Ikoma was going to die, and I kind of really liked a lot, is when she took the cloak of Ikoma right on her fucking, like, you know, like, on her back like that. Like, it felt like some kind of Walking Dead, the video game, like, Season 1 stuff, like kind of that. It's like, I feel like I'm passing the torch on, this is my way to remember. Although, he survived at the end, so... And the ending's very happy-go-lucky, and it's like... This is the thing. An antagonist was, you know, was beaten. The entire series, though, wasn't resolved. Like, you know, we don't know exactly where the Kabaneri came from. We don't know anything about that with the experimentation. We don't know if they're ever going to fulfill their promise. They literally ride into the sunset. They ride into the sunset, all happy, and the last kind of real thing we see is, like, Kamiki being given back the little crystal on his hand. And, you know, there is, like, I mean, he lost his arm, and that's some fucking, you know, crazy shit and all that, and I love that part, you know, when he, like, lost that, and it's like, just seeing that, and, you know, the smile, it, like, surprisingly had a happy ending, like, in a way. It's like, well, we just came from that suffering, and, like, if you think about it, that entire, all that place is taken over, and it's like, where do they go next? So, it's the question of, are we going to get that second season? Are we going to get it? Like, that's the question, because it leaves on a cliffhanger, but then kind of the show acts in a way where it's like, it can kind of end in that way somehow. Like, which, to be fair, the show, like, serious mode and all that, going into it, I don't know why I keep doing this now, like, take my glasses off for serious mode, but the thing is, though, the show got a lot more stupider at longer, like, it was going on to, like, it went a lot more crazy and wacky, but it was still hype, and it was still enjoyable, and it was very action-packed, and that was kind of like what the show was kind of going for. Although, the thing is, regardless of what, with the whole Attack on Titan thing with it as well, like, fucking, I will say this one thing right now, Koma's a way better character than Eren will be, like, at all. Mume's a lot better. I like Ayame, I like Kurusu, I like a good majority of the characters compared to that, although we don't really, well, I guess you consider Mume and Akoma really the Levi and the fucking, it's like a mixture of Eren, Levi, and then adding with Mume Mikasa into it, and it's like, I like these characters and what they were going on, and it was acting smart, and it was like, I feel like that the show, for a lot of people, went downhill the second that we had that break episode, where they were, like, we finally got to see Viva, and I think, like, it was that people had issues with, and the show stopped acting smart and a lot more horror and deep, and it had a lot of dumb stuff, which I can understand, and I know a lot of people didn't like some of the, like, last episodes that we had. I really enjoy this show. I think it's a really good show, regardless of what. That does not take away from the fact that those first, like, to me, 8, 9 episodes or so like that was fantastic. I will agree that the last 2 episodes had issues, and they do have issues, and definitely big one, considering that the fact I'm adding this at the moment, this score, to this final episode, I'm adding the fact that this is the finale of the series without knowing anything about a second season, and it's counting as well for My Hero Academia, because I think My Hero Academia has a very weak finale. If you didn't know about the season 2 and all that, like, it's the same thing. It's very lackluster, and it doesn't conclude a lot of things. There are really nice moments, though. It does conclude this thing with the Bieber stuff, but it doesn't conclude the story and the biggest questions in the show. Where did the Kabaneri come from? What was the first Kabaneri, like that? You know, like, will ever see humanity fight back and all that? And it's like, you know, will we ever see the finale? And, like I said, like, we don't fucking know. Like, we don't know. We could hear something in months and months' time. Maybe they want to do Titan first, and then they come back to Kabaneri. That would be awesome. And I want them to do a season 2. Regardless of what, I want a season 2. I really like this show. I think it's better than Titan. I personally think it's better than season 1 of Titan. And, like, it's really good. I think the characters are a lot there, and I think animation and art is fantastic. I think the villain was a bit dumb, like, at the end, but even still, it worked itself around it, but definitely the ending of the series did have flaws, and I'm not going to deny that. So, I'm very mixed on this last episode. When I think of it as an episode itself, the action and all that was good, great, fun, and I loved it, and it was hype, and it was overacted. As a finale, though, that's where we got fucking problems. Like, that's where we think about it, where it doesn't feel like a finale, and it feels like, you know, that halfway mark, and if this is the halfway mark, we're never gonna get it. It's a bad episode. So I'm gonna leave it there, and the villain as well, not great. So honestly, all I can say is that this finale to me, if this is the first half, I think it's an 8 to a 7.5. Like, I think it's fucking fantastic. Like, with the way it does it, I don't think it's like a masterpiece episode, but I will say art and animation is a 10, music is a 10. But like the villain, the story is 7, 6. Like it went down quite a bit like that. That's adding into the whole score. And so overall, the finale is a 5. If this is all we've got for the finale. So there you go. If it gets to season 2, I think the episode's an 8, because at least then we know it's continuing. If this is the finale and there's no more Kabaneri after it, it's like a fucking 5. I'm so mixed about that ending. I don't want to say it, but it's a lot more worse if that's the case. So we'll have to wait and see. Like, it's such a weird thing, but definitely Kabaneri definitely stood out this season for me, and I don't care. Like what people say, like, oh, it's so dumb shit, and that. No, people think too much about an ending of the show because it's always the climax, and then they forget about all the moments up to there. Like, so many series have been fantastic, but yet they fail at their ending, like, which, you know, a lot of series have done. But it's an important thing, but also as well, you've got to consider, like, the fact about the journey as well, and the destination, but then as well, I'm adding both of the parts into it, so I'm going to leave it off there. I feel like I've kind of talked about this long enough, where I said my thing, where I love the art, I love the hype stuff, I love that stuff, it's dumb as fuck, it's goofy, like, in parts and all that, but I can see what people mean, like, if they hated it with the whole, the seriousness is getting taken away in some parts, and that the villain really was weak at the end. So, other than that, me personally, with the whole Attack on Titan comparison, it's a lot better. I think it's a lot better, regardless of what, than Attack on Titan. Because like Attack on Titan season 2 just ends off like with a little cliffhanger at the ending. Like that's all you get, like, at the end and all that. And it's like, you know, regardless of what, Annie is not like the best fucking villain. So it's like, you know, we're gonna end off there. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Like, yeah, such a weird score where I had to give 2 scores for a show out of 2 different scenarios. But I hope season 2 comes. I really do. So thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you beautiful bastards though next time.